Hey everybody, it's Brandy, and you're watching Abstract Crafter. In today's video, we have a drill with me. So, if you would like a little company today while you diamond paint, while you craft, or if you would just like some company in general, then gather your materials and we will get started in just a few moments. Why, hello friends, welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Brandy, and I am so glad that you stopped by today to spend a little bit of time with me while I work on this diamond painting. I will get right into it. I recently unboxed this. This is partial rhinestone from UmbrWorld, and I know there was a little bit of trouble the last time with this, and the prices have changed drastically since I last looked at it. They fluctuate constantly. I will make sure that there is a better link in this one, and the problem should have been fixed in the other one as well. They did have 42 designs at the time when I initially checked all the information, but that may have changed. And since we're just seeing a small area, I will insert a picture up in the corner for your convenience. Not that you really need it. You can see a good portion of this particular drill. So this one has 10 colors. 6 of them are special drills, and 4 of them are rhinestones, which of course I don't have on hand. Why would I? There they are. Right in there. And then I always add 2 empty containers, one for drills that don't belong and one for garbage. I have not even remotely started on this canvas, but I wanted to give you a little bit of a break from Star Roars since I unboxed a lot and I've been talking about them a lot lately. I don't want to be super in your face because I know that can get really annoying. And just because they're my favorite company doesn't mean that they're yours. So, one thing with this canvas that's a little weird is the colors don't necessarily match the actual, like this pink, for example. It doesn't necessarily match. It's actually showed up red on the bag and on the chart here. Well, at least when I did it. So I made a red label, and now looking at it, I feel silly because it's pink. It's obviously pink. But like the first one is this red weird plus sign, but it's actually a blue drill. So in that sense, some of them don't match, which is fine. It's okay. You know, we adjust and we move on. So we're just going to get right into it. I'm going to gather. It's a new made up word for you today. Gather the drills that I need, and I could work right out of these containers, but I actually like to still shake them out. So updates. I barely was able to upload it all this week. I have been so disgustingly sick, like not like a cold or flu, but my sinuses are still just giving me so much trouble. I thought that I overcame it, but it came back with a vengeance this past week, and worse than before. I wasn't able to do anything. Medicine wasn't touching it. Nothing was working. I even tried like the Sudafed, and as you know, if you remember from when I told you about when I first got sick, the Sudafed is the good stuff from behind the counter. Not that phenylphrine, but the pseudoephedrine. And that usually does the trick. That will knock out any sinus troubles that I have, but all it did was make my heart race, and that is not fun. So I'm just kind of getting over it today. It's just a very mild headache, so I wanted to film it as soon as I could. And then the other thing that gets in the way is my heater. I had no idea what I would be contending with when I decided to make this area my crafting area. I honestly didn't give it any thought at all Probably because who turns the heat on to test it for sound in the middle of one of the worst heat waves that this town has had in quite some time. So I never tested it. I am working on an alternative space. We were going to make a game room upstairs. We have an extra bedroom up there. And we were going to make a game room out of it, but almost as quickly as the kids fell in love with it, they fell out of love with it. So that kind of got nipped in the bud. Okay, so this is going to throw me off a little bit too, because the picture isn't accurate with size. So you see these green ones and the pink ones are the same size, and then these blue and red ones are smaller, but on the chart they're all the same size, so it throws me off just a little bit. I mean, really, they can't really do it to scale, I get it, but it's gonna take me a minute. So I'm hoping to work out something with that game room, because we have to have some use for it. It's cold in there, but I think that would be okay and easy enough to heat up. It's a much smaller space, and I will be doing a more updated house tour now that things are more settled around here and my craft area is coming along nicely. I do plan on doing an updated tour. See, now there's a misfit, and this is an example of what I would use these extra containers for. It's a blue that doesn't belong. It's actually probably this first one, but until I get there and can test it, I just would prefer to throw it in a container. So that's what we'll do. And with rhinestones, you tend to have a lot more trash and misfits. I have noticed in my, I guess, limited experience with rhinestones and special drills. So anyhow, I'm sorry I'm jumping back and forth. I am just beyond thrilled to be filming again, so I'm a little all over the place. So yes, I'm hoping to do an updated tour to show you all of the updates and stuff that I have done with my crafting area and the house. It's coming along so nice. Little by little, you know, thrift stores are basically like my best friend right now. I mean, what else can you do? We never anticipated on moving this quickly. We planned on moving, but not... This was so random and so unexpected that, you know, we didn't have a lot of the stuff, like, which we knew we could get in time. This house was just... checked too many dots to pass it up. So... But... it is coming along nicely, and I would like to share that with all of you that are interested in that. So, partials. God, I haven't done a partial in so long. It's different. I like partials, I do. They have to be a pretty good canvas for me to buy it if it's a partial. And I always thought special drills and rhinestones could really, you know, beef it up, I guess. Make it look real nice. So I guess we'll see if that holds true. The first canvas I ever did was a partial, so it is really hard to see if there's any junk in here, though. That's the only thing I don't like about partials and filming, because I have to sit in a different position than I do when I typically drill, and it's hard to tell if I'm getting ones that are concave or not, because they look significantly different. Anyhow, so other than the few little life updates that I have, I am going to get back into the emotion story guide that I created a while back now. It's been a couple months that I first brought this to you guys, and it was more or less a way for me to tell you some stories, have some talking points, and then what I'm going to do from after this is I'll try to finish this up. I'm very close to finishing the pairs of emotions that I have. If you're not sure and you don't keep up with my drill with me's, I will link the very first video I talked about it in, And it kind of explains a lot of the changes to my channel that I planned on making too, which some of them are still in the works. But that way I don't have to explain it every time I use this emotion story guide. And as always, I will link it in the description. I have a Google Doc that you can use to follow along with, or if you're a blogger or a vlogger, YouTuber, and you would like to also use it. It's a very open-ended kind of talking point thing. It'll be there and available for anybody that would like to use it. I'm going to try not to go too far up because you ain't going to be able to see it, and I realize that I'm not quite zoomed in like I typically am with Drill With Me's, but I didn't really want to have to do that because it's such a glary picture. Like, you can see that the light is bouncing like crazy off of it. So, and I just thought, we'll work on little sections at a time and go from there. I'll be switching drills a lot, so you'll get a little bit of that ASMR. My husband thinks I should do one, even though I wasn't planning on it. Well, I was, but then I changed my mind for a little while. But I think I should still do it. I have a really good idea on how to do a good ASMR video. And see, I'm already starting to ramble, so I need to get on track, which is the other reason I created this story guide. And just to warn you, my little baby Umbra will most likely join us. She likes to be near me when I'm working, especially when I'm filming. And she is just learning how to jump up on my table, this craft table. It's actually pretty high because it's technically like a woodworking table. All the tools and materials, yeah. I thought I said that weird, but I apparently didn't. All the stuff necessary for working with wood and stuff is right here, so it's a pretty high table. You're meant to stand at it, not really sit at it. But, so that's just a little FYI. I'm not entirely sure where I left off with these pairs of words that I don't like the frosty ones that I left off on. I am sure though that the last one I did was like happy and sad, because that was kind of an easy one, and I maybe did weak, strong, nervous, I kind of want to go between disgusted and pleased and nervous and confident, and then kind and cruel. I'm kind of bouncing between those, but some of these aren't exactly stories. They're more just me rambling in relation to the word, which is the beauty of this story guide, is that there is no right or wrong way to use it, which is another reason I created it. But I think what we'll do is we'll start out with nervous and confident, because it's something that I deal with like on a daily basis for the most part. So I think it's a good one to start with. And I just want to do these random ones over here that I see so that I don't forget them before I put the stuff away. It was probably a bit off camera, but so nervous and confident. And so nervous, that kind of goes along with like anxiety, and I do have diagnosed anxiety. I actually have like PTSD. And I need to backtrack real quick before we get into this, because I realized that I started telling you something that I didn't finish. I was talking about what I was going to be doing in the future here is I'm going to do this story guide. I want to try to finish it up and get it done with. I'm so close to being done. I only have a handful of pairs, probably enough for like 3 or 4 more videos. And then I'm going to start at the end. I'll mix it up with this. At the end, I'll give you some topics of stories that we can, that I can tell you guys about. Some might be sad, some might be sensitive, some might be happy. So I'll give you kind of a few topics, and then you can comment down below what ones you want to hear about in the next video. And we'll just keep recycling the topics until they all get their time to shine in a video. Unless there are some that are just, you guys are just like, nope, don't want nothing to do with that topic. I get that. Not everything is for YouTube. So, nervous and confident. Let's jump right back into that. So, for me, yes, like nervous is kind of like anxiety also for me. And I have a weird kind of anxiety because I'm like a really big people person. Obviously, I'm on the internet. I'm letting myself just be and hoping that people will choose to watch and like me. And so in that aspect, I'm a people person. And I do have terrible, terrible anxiety when it comes to things like confrontation or, like, oddly enough, I don't like calling and ordering food. For some reason, that gives me so much anxiety, and I get anxious, and then, like, I start stumbling over my words, and I try to make silly jokes that sound funny in my head, but when they come out of my mouth, they just make me sound kind of like a witch with a capital B. Or like I'm snobbish or stuck up, or sometimes it even makes me look like I'm kind of an idiot, or depending on the joke, I guess. It doesn't necessarily, it just comes off wrong. And that's what nervousness does to me. I also will ramble a lot, which I do anyway, so you can imagine when I'm nervous how much worse it gets. I will tend to over-explain things. And I don't know, like, I've always been that way. I've always had anxiety about a lot of things. Well, and actually, I haven't always. It started when my son was born. And my oldest son, Gavin. Like, I've told you guys that we live where it's like a sister city, Duluth, Superior. And to get from one town to the next, you have to go over the high bridges. And I was never able to drive over them for the longest time. I just have a fear of bridges, fear of heights, and a fear of water. So all three of them combined, that's just my worst nightmare. And I've told you in previous videos that I would curl up in a little ball and cover my ears so that I wouldn't have that, the sensation of going over a bridge. It usually takes no more than 3 to 4 minutes to get over the bridge. But none of that started until after I had my son. He was born a preemie, and so he was itty bitty. He was 2 pounds, 18 ounces, no, 2 pounds, 13 ounces, sorry, when he was born. So he was itty bitty, and he was still only 4 pounds when he came home. And up until that point, I had never put much thought into going over a bridge. But my mom had worked over in Duluth, and I, of course, live in Superior. And we wanted to take Gavin up to see her at work. And so she could show her co-workers her first grandbaby. And that's when it hit me, was driving over that bridge for the first time with my son. It was different because, like, he was born in Duluth, so we had to travel the bridge to come home, but I think the excitement of him coming home overrode that, and that was the first time I ever noticed it, was that bridge. I just all of a sudden became extremely panicky and anxious, and I had never really had not this degree of anxiety like this before, and it was so intense, and it was so hard to shake it off for a long time after that. After we got up to my mom's work, and even when we got home, and I never ever wanted to go back over it. And at this point, I still hadn't gotten my driver's license. I had no interest in driving, and so it got even worse when I ended up getting a job at the same place as my mom, which happened to be Walmart. Oddly enough, I've worked at Walmart twice in both towns, but not the point. And I would always have to have somebody drive me over there. And then one day, my mom and dad went somewhere where they couldn't. I had my own vehicle, but I just couldn't, I wasn't brave enough to drive over there. Why I thought I needed to get a job in Duluth when I couldn't even drive over the bridge? You got me. Oh, I keep getting these frosted ones and I don't notice till they're down. Maybe it's because my mom worked there and it was easy to get a job there. I don't know. But anyway, one time they went out on a date or something and they weren't going to be back in time for them to bring me to work. And how ridiculous anyway. This was like a 25-minute drive to this Walmart that I worked at. So almost an hour there and back for someone to drive me. And that first time I had to drive myself over it, I tell you, my legs shook. I could barely accelerate or brake. It was such a blur. And I remember, and this was when you could still smoke inside buildings, and they had a smoking room in their break room. And I remember I went into that break room and I must have chain smoked like 3 cigarettes before my shift. I couldn't stop shaking. It's like, you know how some people will purposely like shake their leg when they're like anxious or excited or whatever. It's like almost like their legs hop along or jump or whatever. I know my husband does it a lot. I do it too, but that's what it was like with both legs involuntarily though. Like what I'm talking about with me and my husband when we're excited or anxious, that's voluntary. Kind of. It's almost like subconscious voluntary. Anyhow, but after that, it got easier and easier. To this day, though, I still have occasions where I'm driving as fast as I can over that bridge just to get over it, and I'm planning out what would happen if, for some reason, the bridge started crumbling beneath me, and that's really where the bulk of my anxiety started. And I think I need to stop on this flower about here, because then we'll be going off camera. And like, confidence now, on the other hand, is not something that comes very easily for me at all. It depends. I mean, I can be a fairly confident person if it's necessary for me to be confident. And then I'm, the most confident girl in the whole world. I'm trying to make sure that I don't need any more of these right this minute. I think I might have been putting the wrong color down. Oh no, okay. I see what's going on. It's also on the inside of the flower. I can be quite sassy. I can be quite self-assured. And especially like if I know something, like, and somebody tries to argue with me, I can be pretty confident, almost to an annoying degree. But you know, who isn't when they know they're right and somebody keeps telling them that they're wrong? I don't like have a particular story about like my confidence. I know I used to be a lot more confident when I was younger, to the point where it was annoying. Like, I was real skinny, and I knew that, like the way I would dress would be very confident, almost borderline provocative. But that's a different kind of confidence. Like I said, I don't have a particular story about it. I know that I can become quite confident if there is something like a cause or an issue that I need somebody to stand up for and nobody else will. I can also become quite confident if there's a situation where they need a volunteer for something and nobody else will do it. It's almost like another part of me takes over and I just get all this confidence and I'll volunteer first, or I don't know. It's weird. I have weird bouts of confidence, and it's different than what most people might even classify as being confident. So it's something that is weird, and it's something that I wish I was better about. I wish I had more confidence on a daily basis, especially to do the things that I know need to be done. Like in my life, I wish, I could not shy away from like things that need somebody to have a voice for them. I don't know. It's weird, and it's something that I do work on, and it's something that I aim to be better at. But I don't want to be too confident either, because that goes into the thing I want to talk about next with brain fart. So sorry. Like being kind and being cruel. No, I am by nature a kind person. I don't know how to be mean, and in instances where I have been mean, I almost immediately take it back or regret it. Even when I'm saying something to somebody that has been extremely cruel, I'll stand up for people, and sometimes my anger will get the best of me, and I'll say things that I'm not entirely proud of. Okay, real quick, if you're watching, what I'm doing when I'm testing these drills off to the side is if they're super concave, and I don't know if they'll stick or not, I test it on the canvas over here. If it makes this certain sound, I know that it won't stick, because it's the edges scraping, versus one that's completely flat, it'll slide more, and it won't scratch as much. So, I don't know. Just in case that you're happen to notice. But kindness is like, that is my nature. I am kind to a fault. I can be cruel if it is what I think is necessary. Like if I think that's the only way. Like I'm typically always the person that's gonna be like, kill him with kindness, say F you with a smile kind of person. This stupid drill. Wow, there's a lot of concave ones. I'm that person. And I always believe that you go further. But then you see these people who are not like that, and they just succeed so far in life because they have become so confident that they're cocky at this point. And people like that absolutely drive me nuts, and I think it's because I can't exhibit those qualities. So I think that's why. I'm just not good at being cruel. I'm not even good at, if somebody has wronged me, I'm more likely to just ghost them than to be cruel or even tell them how I feel if I think it's going to come across as cruel. I've dated a lot of people that I think would be categorized as truly evil and cruel people. Just like my ex that used to abuse me, I would categorize him in that way. And not just for the things that he's done to me, but the things that he's done to other people. Like, just no conscience. It's two different words there. He's just... And I think when you've dealt with cruelty and you've been treated so harshly for a long time, that you can go one or two ways. You can adapt that behavior and become cruel yourself, or you can do what I have done and decide that I never want to ever be the cause of somebody's pain or ever make anybody experience some of the truly crappy things that I've had to experience in life. And I want to make things as easy as possible. And I want to be that person that if you're having a bad day, I want to turn it around. Yeah, I'm always going to be that person. And I think that's one of the my best qualities is my ability to use my empathy. I mean, my empathy is so strong that and I've mentioned this before, that it's so strong that I can feel what other people are feeling. I can read other people's feelings very easily, and that can really, really be draining if you don't figure out ways to channel that, and I don't always know the best ways to channel that. Okay, is this the right one? Yes. I've been so excited to put these particular drills down, these special drills. I think they're just so pretty. Let's see, how does that look on camera? I almost got up. Ooh, coming along. Anyway. So, yes, my empathy runs so strong that if I have done something cruel to somebody and I hurt them, I can feel that immediately. When somebody is particularly cruel, I feel that. And it doesn't make me feel cruel. It makes me feel extremely anxious, extremely uncomfortable. And it's like, I know it's like a trigger to get away. Like, leave the situation, leave that person behind, do not engage. Like, I just get these senses. Ooh, and I dropped my tweezers right upon my tray. Some of these are just really dull and I don't want to use them. I hope I don't get stuck using them. And so when it comes to that kind of stuff, no matter what, no matter the situation, no matter how many times it has bit me in the butt, I will always choose to be kind over cruel. And I will never change that, because people don't necessarily like it when you are that way, and they want to do what they can to take that from you, to ruin it, to ruin your day. It's not easy to explain, but you know, when you are a strong empath like me, and you learn a thing or two about how people will treat you, because I always like to say, do not mistake my kindness for weakness. Though in some cases it can still be a weakness, but it does not make me weak. If I need to be, I can be strong. And that is one of my favorite sayings, is do not mistake my kindness for weakness, because many times, many times, people have tried. And when I have to be a witch with a capital B, I will. I just prefer not to. So, oh, and I don't know what happened. I know I got cut off. I was talking about being a strong empath, so I hope that part didn't get cut off. I'm hoping I accidentally paused for too long when that part came up. I was specifically watching, and I was going to pause it when it hit 33 minutes before it hit that 33-minute and 11-second mark, so that I could switch the clips. So if part of my words got cut off where I feel like it was really important in what I was saying, I will insert some text. So you may need to back up and check that out if that did happen. But hopefully I've been pausing a lot, because I'm trying to choose my words carefully in what I'm saying. And, you know, I don't want to, like, there's no times in my life, really, though, where I feel like I was so cruel and out of order in my cruelness that I think about it to this day at all. Oh my god, these ones are really bad. They're so holy. I've seen a couple of them that are just full of holes. And this one's like just a half of a one. That's usually you don't get a ton of extra with these special ones. So, if they have a couple holes, I'm going to put them back in the container. And then if I have to use them, I will. I just don't like the look of holes. I think it makes it really obvious. If I have to, I will, and I have. Oh, that one's actually pretty. It's upside down, but it still looks really pretty as a silver. And my dryer just stopped. I like to usually have my dryer going as some white noise in the background. Jesus, there's a lot of junk drills in this kit. Which, like I've said, rhinestones tend to be more junky than most. But this particular drill seems to be really bad. Foggy, wholly miscolored, bad drills. Oh my goodness. I will not use them. I will go without, honestly. Unless they just have a couple small holes and I'm putting them back in their original container, like I just got done saying. I do tend to do that a lot, repeat myself. Anyhow, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that subject. I think I've spent enough time on it. I think the last thing I'll say on it is that I've experienced enough cruelness in my life, not just from the people I've dated, but in general, in encounters, that I am very careful with who I let into my close personal life, because like I said, people tend to take advantage when you're kind. And some people can be hard to read. For the most part, I'm good at reading people, but some people can be very hard to read. Some people are just very good at being manipulative, and they can get the best of me. Oh my god, these are so trashy. I'm having a hard time finding ones that don't have any air bubbles in them. I might be a little picky, I guess, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We spend good money on these canvases. If we want perfection from them, we should get that. It's just too bad, because I really, really liked a lot of their canvases. But I don't know if they're just a drop ship seller, like they get a bunch of canvases from a bunch of different companies and sell them. I have no idea, but it's possible. So that's why I wanted to do more than one canvas from them, but if this turns out really bad, that's going to be hard for me to want to do. Like if the drills are really bad. Okay, so I'm going to choose one more pair of topics, or of emotions, and we'll call that good, because I have to get a video uploaded for you guys. Usually I film my drill with me's and then I put them up the same day or the next day. But this one, it's going to be a day off from when I would typically put it up. But I have time to film right now. I don't have a headache, so I really wanted to get it done. You know, and I think what's really even more worse is the ones that have the best cuts on them are the ones that seem to be the worst, in the worst shape. That's tragic, honestly. So, let me see. Angry, calm, surprise, anticipation, weak, strong, disgusted, pleased. We can talk about annoyed and serene, because those are two things that are kind of big for me, is being annoyed or irritated. I get irritated easily, very easily. And that's where a lot of my, like, kindness gets stifled, is because I'm a kind person. I can't even express my annoyances for the most part, except, like, to certain people. And that's when I say, you know, I really love or care about you, when I am comfortable enough to express my feelings, any feelings, good or bad. Like if I'm mad and I yell at you, you gotta be a pretty special person for me to actually express that. I mean, it's different than like sometimes I've been angry in a video. It's different. If I can get annoyed with you, I care enough about you to have that feeling. Which is different than generally caring about people. I overall generally care about every person, and I think every person is important. Almost every person, I should say. There are some people that I feel that there is a special place in hell for. Anyhow, that's not the topic at hand. So, I get annoyed very easy. I have a lot of strange pet peeves. Things that most people would be like, could just let go. I can't. Some of it has to do with my OCD, which I am diagnosed with OCD. Mostly as a perfectionist. Like, that's kind of the way that my OCD works, I guess, for lack of a better term. Gosh, I really hope I'm done with these stupid pink ones. Oops, and I put them in the wrong container. Anyway, I see now that I am not almost done with these. Ugh, I actually need quite a bit more of them. Anyhow, okay. I'm getting off track. So, like, eating noises, that will instantly put me in a bad mood. I cannot stand the sound of eating noises. Chewing noises, like smacking gum, that kind of stuff. I'm very sensitive to it. And my ears, it's like misery. I also get annoyed with, like, I don't want to say, like, stupidity, because that sounds really mean, but, like, stupidity, just because I don't have a better word for it. Let me see if I can think of, like, an example. Like, I don't feel like there's stupid questions or anything like that, but, I'll come back to that. I'll circle back to an example, because I put myself on the spot, so I know I'm feeling the pressure. But what else? I get annoyed at, like I mentioned in one of my last videos about how my idea was stolen. Now that really, like, irritated me for a long time, and it really, like, started to affect my day, and I have to really, like, almost, like, talk myself down. And I will talk a little bit about how I do that with the serene part, because boy, has that been some work to get myself to feel serene. And I'll talk about some ways that I practice, like, peacefulness, calmness, being serene, what serenity is to me, and not just, like, the serenity prayer. Oh my god, see, like, this is annoying. I'm getting extremely annoyed at the fact that there's so many crappy drills in this kit. It's, like, really, really, like, irritating me, because it's sidetracking me, and it's making me lose focus of what I'm talking about. So if you notice that I'm stumbling over my words a lot, that is why. And it's something that, like, most normal people wouldn't even care. They would just be like, okay, it's a bad drill. It is what it is. But not me. No. I have to dwell on it. But anyhow, like, when my idea is stolen, I don't mind sharing my ideas, but, like I mentioned in that last video, I just like to have the credit, you know, like, I'm super happy that you got inspiration from me, but just say that. You don't even have to say, you know, like, oh, I heard Brandy mention this in her video, and I'm gonna do it now too. I've even had my friends do this stuff to me, where, like, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this. This is my plan. And next thing you know, they're doing it. Oh, it just annoys me to no end, because it's like, that's me again, my kindness being taken advantage of, even by people that I'm supposedly close to. And I'll I will just cut you out. I don't even want to like deal with that. If you can't like be decent enough in that aspect, or like there's certain things I don't like to talk about. Like I'll talk about money in a broad sense, or like if I'm doing something new on my channel and I'll make money, I like to inform you guys, but I don't like to like talk direct finances. Like I don't like to talk about how much I make doing certain things, not just on YouTube, but in real life too. I don't like to, I just don't, I just see it as tacky a little bit. Like, or being braggy. There's times to brag, and I just don't think that finances is one of them, because you don't know what the other people are going through. Like, I don't want to hear, like, it's different. If you're like excited, like you just won the lottery, or you just invested into a business and it turned around. No, this is very circumstantial, which is why it's hard for me to talk about, because I don't want anyone to take it wrong. But like them kind of things, I'm always going to be happy for you. But if it starts turning around and you're like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe how much money this makes, and it's all I ever hear, it will get on my nerves, because, especially because I'm not a rich person. As you well know, I've talked about this. You know, we budget and we thrift and we save and we do a lot of things, and we sacrifice a lot to be able to have the things that we want. But I would never be like, you would not believe how much I made doing this and this and this and this. Like, unless it's business advice. I hope this makes sense, because it's definitely not like a jealousy thing. Like, I'm never going to be jealous because somebody worked hard and it paid off, and now they're doing well because of it. Like, it's never going to be like that. It's the people that, it's like throwing it in your face kind of about that. Like, I get so annoyed by it. So annoyed. It's just, like, people who will come on YouTube and talk about how much they make. Oh, that just drives me nuts. Like, across the board, I don't, again, unless it's like a learning video and they're using it as an example, but I don't know, it annoys me. It just annoys me. It annoys me in real life too. Like, unless it's a specific topic, I just don't think it's anybody's business, really. And like, I don't know. It's hard to explain without sounding petty or jealous. But, you know, like I said, I'm not gonna, like, if you're rich, you're rich. But you don't need to tell me that all the time, you know, like, somebody even coming up to me and being like, I'm fabulously wealthy. That would not upset me. I would probably laugh, because that's a personality type anyhow. Like, I'm thinking of characters off of TV now to try to use as examples, because I'm not like calling anybody specific out at all. And I know it's going to come across like that. It's kind of like, I would never indirectly like talk about somebody like that, where they wouldn't have the ability to defend themselves without outing themselves. So I'm really just talking super, super broad. Oh my God, I'm getting so crabby over these drills. Oh, I can't wait for the post review on this. These are so bad. Even for drills that I know are not going to be good. They're bad. You know, on the flip side, let's talk about some things that are calming and serene, because I need that so bad right now. So a couple of things that I get into a lot that really help change a mood. I love essential oils. And no, I don't believe in like the claims like Young Living and stuff like that. Like, I don't get into it like that. I get into it because of what a scent has the ability to do. Like, it can evoke memories. and certain smells can be calming, and but and at the same time, I'm not trying to discount anybody that believes in essential oils for any kind of healing purposes or whatever, because I got into them when I was in rehab and they were very healing for me. I just don't know anything about like medical claims as far as like this will cure cancer. Like that is what I mean when I don't believe those kinds of claims, because I haven't done any research into it. So if you are on the opposite side of that spectrum, I don't know, link me some articles, educate me, but do it in a kind way. You know me, I don't get into making people feel stupid because they don't know something or they're misinformed. Kind discussion is always welcome. And if there's a chance for me to be educated, I welcome it. So, but yeah, essential oils were big for me. And they did help. I love like certain smells like lemongrass and lavender and what's the other one I like a lot? Rosemary, bergamot. Those are my favorite smells, and I actually have necklaces that are made to put a little bit of essential oil inside of them so that you can smell them all day to help lift your mood. I do believe in scents being able to do that and not just essential oils. I just happen to like oils. I do like them for like making other DIY things like cleaning products and bug sprays and stuff. I love oils for that. I just personally haven't looked into them much further than the purposes that I use them for. I also really love yoga. I haven't done yoga in a while, but that was also something that I found that I hated to do, but when I was done with it, like with the workout, I absolutely felt so much better and like good about myself, and it would change my mood. It would be uplifting. Especially like if I was able to go accomplish a pose that I hadn't like that again, that was something I learned in rehab because I went to a very holistic type of rehab. If that says anything about me right there. You can kind of get why essential oils and yoga might be something that is very healing for me. But besides things like that, one of the best places on earth that I have ever went as far as a serene and calming place is by far hands down Wisconsin Point, which is where I live. It's what we call the beach that you can look out on Lake Superior at. I mean, there's other spots, but the one that's nearest me is called Wisconsin Point, and the beach stretches for quite a ways, and you can just look out on Lake Superior, and it's absolutely gorgeous. There's a couple places in Duluth that I like to also go to, in which you can just look at the lake, and I can literally just sit there on the water for hours and stare out there and just feel so much better. Like if I'm having a bad day and I need to get out of the house, but I don't want to like go to Walmart, which is like the only store in my town, and I don't want to, go see a friend or see my mom or whatever, driving to Lake Superior always does it for me. Always, always does it for me. I get so much enjoyment just watching the water and looking through the rocks. I don't know, something about rocks really calms me. And the final thing that I really get a lot of enjoyment out of, and this is besides like diamond painting and stuff, because that very much so relaxes me and uplifts me too, except for when I'm coming across a project like this that has so many terrible drills. Now that I've picked most of them out, though, I'm starting to calm down a little bit. Talking about calming things helps too. Clouds. I clouds and stars, just looking up at the sky and just like actually thinking about it, about the vastness and what could possibly be out there, and things that I once thought were ridiculous, like life outsides our own, and becoming more open-minded to that and changing my beliefs. It's something that just, I couldn't even begin to explain it in the time that we have left for this video. So if you're ever super curious about what my thoughts are on aliens, UFOs, life on other planets, stuff like that, I will be happy to dedicate a whole video to just that. Because they're a little bit out there, but I don't think that they're so far out there that and no one would be able to identify with them. So I think that's just about all the time that we have. I have to turn my heat way down when I film down here. So it's a very chilly day. So I want to go turn the heat up and get something to eat and get my video uploaded. It's uploading onto YouTube now. So now I just got to add the final touches to it. And the video in particular that I'm talking about, which is already out before this one, obviously if I'm uploading it, is the diamond painting sticker post review. I'm pretty excited to show you guys that video. There's some stuff in there that I changed, like the Christmas stickers. I did some alterations too, so I was pretty excited about those. Yes, I think this is where I will leave you. I'm going to continue working on this stress-inducing, and please, nothing I talk about in this video is meant to be offensive or anything like that. It's just me literally rambling and talking. And I've said it many times, if you don't believe in the same things I do, if you don't feel the same way I do about certain things, that's okay. I embrace and appreciate that so much. I know a lot of people will say it, but not many people will walk the walk and talk the talk. I do. I love all of these things equally, and I embrace all of the differences, and I never mean to be offensive or hurt anybody's feelings, I guess, with the things that I talk about. But for the next drill with me, I have a couple of topics of stories that I can share with you. So I can share with you finally my recovery story as topic 1. I can share with you my it would actually be like a couple of stories of how I overcame my abuse and how it all started, the whole story behind that. I've talked about it here and there, but I've never talked about it from beginning to end. I think I've only touched on the end and how I got out of it, but I never really talked about how it started and some of the stories in between of things that happened to me, and then I have the story of the time I ran away when I was 17, and then essentially I was kidnapped. So there's that story. If you want to hear about that, it's kind of a scarier one, but I will be happy to share it. I've been through a lot of recovery to be able to be in a position to feel comfortable to share that story. Just so you know, it is no longer traumatic for me. Yes, it did cause PTSD, but I'm in a place where I feel like it could be helpful to somebody else and not hurtful necessarily to me. So, on the happier side, if you would like me to talk more about my kids and my dog and my family and more upbeat stuff, let me know that too. All of these topics are up for discussion. If there's anything that in particular that you would like to hear about, let me know in the comments. I'm not going to do a poll, but let me know. And if there's topics that you feel maybe are too sensitive that I touched on, please let me know that too. that can be done in a very nice and nice way, I guess. I don't know what else I was going to add there, but that can be done in a better way too. So let me know down below what your thoughts are. And I will, that's all I got. Yeah, so if you have not subscribed, please do so before you go. Hit that thumbs up button. It helps so much. It helps the video get seen. It helps more people come to my channel and watch my videos, and helps our wonderful, beautiful family grow. And then if you have not yet, make sure that you turn the bell notifications on so that you will always be updated when I post a video just like this one. And with that, I will let you go. So have an awesome day. Have fun doing whatever it is that truly, truly makes you happy. Love you, friends. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.